Big Bitcoin whales are opening up long positions like crazy, and historical speaking, this is the most bullish signal we can see over on Bitcoin. We are heading towards the top side of this broadening wedge. We are getting supported by the lower side, a really interesting point for whales to scale in the market, because every single time we tap the lower side of this broadening wedge, that was the exact moment Bitcoin started to rally towards the upside. Next week is gonna be very exciting and important for Bitcoin. This is a major trade setup that I am following for next week. We will dive exactly in what I'm doing in the market next, but first of all, I would really appreciate you guys to follow me over on X to never miss something throughout the day ever again in crypto. And of course, I would really appreciate you guys to subscribe over on my YouTube channel and like this daily update video if you love those updates. And let's dive right away into the content now, because what we can see actually is that if you look at the Bitcoin Bitfinex longs, we can see that we managed to rise towards the upside, and that was the exact moment Bitcoin was dumping towards the downside. And actually that is a really good signal to see Bitcoin dumping and the longs piling up towards the upside. That means that the price and the longs are diverging from each other, which will cause for a major rally in advance for Bitcoin. But right now we saw that for the Bitcoin price to move up eventually pretty heavily here, we need to see the Bitcoin Bitfinex longs going down. And if we see that happening, that was the exact moment Bitcoin started to rally towards the upside. Right here we saw a small drop in the Bitcoin Bitfinex longs, but an interesting fact here is that the Bitcoin Bitfinex longs are still accumulating major long positions. And one thing is for sure, of course, this could lead for some shorter term downside here, what we are seeing over on Bitcoin. But overall, the longer this takes, the more longs are piling up over on Bitcoin, the bigger the expansion will be if we eventually fall towards the downside on the Bitcoin Bitfinex longs. This is a major signal, and of course, this is not the signal we were hoping for Bitcoin, because if we dropped from off this point, that could rally Bitcoin towards new all-time highs. But right now, they are piling up the longs once again, and the longer this takes, the more longs there will be opened at this bottom, the bigger the expansion will be towards the upside. So patience is a really important part in the market for now. Also, if you look at this major chart, we can see that if you look at the broadening wedge patterns, we can see that actually every single time we tap the lower side of the broadening wedge, this was a massive buy opportunity on Bitcoin. We have seen a really big one right over here, and that lower side was the time to buy your Bitcoin. Right over here we saw it once again. The exact moment where big whales stepped in the market was at the lower side of this broadening wedge. Right over here we saw the exact same thing happening, and for now I really am anticipating on that same exact move here for Bitcoin on the lower side of this broadening wedge. And very interesting about the broadening wedge is that every single time we tap that lower side, we pump towards the upside, towards the resistance from the broadening wedge. We have seen that right over here, we have seen it right over here, and right now I'm anticipating on that move. And that is the move where I am preparing myself for here on Bitcoin, from the $87,000 back towards 120K here for Bitcoin, the top side of this range. Of course, we can also break out further towards the upside, and that would be massive too. But one thing for sure, if you look at this chart, every single time we scaled in our Bitcoin at the lower side of these wedges, that was the exact moment Bitcoin started to bottom out, and that was where the real gains were to be made towards the upside for Bitcoin, because everyone is in disbelief at this phase, and that is pretty normal because it's just emotions. But if everyone is in fear right now, that is the exact moment I want to scale in my Bitcoin positions here. And also, if you look at some lower time frames, Bitcoin is looking pretty interesting. Eventually, there are really good trade setups forming right now, either towards the upside and either towards the downside. Because what we can see here is, if we look at this range, we can see that we are at the lower side of this range. Of course, one fact that you need to know is that longs on the lower side of the range are the best risk to reward ratio trades we can take. Longs from this point towards the top side of this range are way better than opening up positions from the middle of the range or even the top side of the range. So of course everyone is in this belief at this moment, but one thing for sure is that the best trades are at the lower side of the range, and that is the exact point we are at right now. So we are still at very interesting support zone. Bitcoin needs to get supported by this lower side of support. If we see a drop below a clear loss of this level, then we are losing this range towards the downside, and that is not a good signal. For now, I've been talking about this a lot here. We are creating liquidity on the lower side of these lows, and that is the exact target I am targeting right now to take out before the next shift towards the upside. So I really want to see Bitcoin going down a little bit further towards the $86.3 thousand. If we take that liquidity out, I'm anticipating on a rotation towards the upside, and if we see so, I'm opening up a massive position. And if you look at the 2-hour time frame, how is that looking for Bitcoin? We have been seeing right over here that we were looking for a long position because we tapped into perfect support, and after that Bitcoin managed to break above this high, but we didn't have a candle open and close above, so that is pretty risky to open up a trade, and that was exactly what we were not doing in the markets here. We could even short this move towards the downside, and the exact move towards the downside started for Bitcoin. Right now, it is really important to stay above this low. So we are just squeezing the price right here. This low is pretty important to hold, and this low is pretty important to, this high is important to gain. We are trading between those two lines. I expect a further move towards the downside to take out liquidity. With that, it is really important to know that if we manage to put in a high or a low, we really want to see the price getting flip towards the upside. For now, it is important to gain this level towards the upside after a liquidity grab. So if the liquidity grab happens, we can watch for the switch, trend switch towards the upside to long Bitcoin towards new targets. Like I said, if we break this green box towards the downside, we can also short this Bitcoin move towards new lows here, and that would be probably the $80,000 or even lower on Bitcoin. For now, we just need to see a little bit more confluences to open up a trade, but if things unfolds in the market, big trades, big opportunities are coming, please make sure to be prepared and follow me over on X and subscribe over on my YouTube channel, because I'm discussing all those trade setups over on those socials. And a really good part here is we have a free trading community with the first link in the description. If you follow me over all those socials, you never miss a move in crypto ever again. And we were crushing the markets for the last months here, so you wouldn't miss out of any trades if you follow me right over there. And then the only thing you need to do is trade those moves over on your favorite exchange, like either Blowfin or WeX. And if you want to do so, please make sure to sign up on WeX or Blowfin through the link in the description, and you will have the best trading circumstances, the best liquidity, and the best exchanges out there. So if you want to trade in the best trading circumstances, please make sure to sign up through the link in the description here. Then if you look at some on-chain data, we also can see that the short-term holders, the STH, is diverging here towards the upside, which is a really good signal, because what we can see is that the short-term holders just capitulated hard towards the downside, and that is exactly what we want to see for a good bottom structure, because capitulation is most of the time the runner-up for a really good bottom on Bitcoin. What we can see is that right over here in March 2025, we can see that Capitulation was hitting Bitcoin pretty hard, and we created a bullish divergence towards the upside. So what does that mean? That Bitcoin created a new lower low, while the short-term holders capitulated with a divergence towards the upside, and that was the bottom that has been created over on Bitcoin, and the next rally towards the upside started from off that point. Right now we are seeing the exact same thing. We capitulated hard right over here and right over here. We are capitulating hard. People are selling their short-term holdings into a loss and selling it into a loss, and that is the exact moment market makers decides to move the price higher, and they are buying all of your Bitcoin, all of the short-term holders, the short-term Bitcoin that has been sold in this quite a range here, they get bought up by institutions, by entities. Why? If the institutions and entities won't buy that Bitcoin back, we would have dropped below these lows, and that is not what's happening. And that is a really interesting signal in the market. And ending with that, I would really appreciate you guys to follow me over on X and to subscribe over on my YouTube channel. And I will see you tomorrow by a brand new Crypto Daily Update video.